Hi, welcome. It's time for my campaign update and state of my campaign, state of the union, and state of the world address for today. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, a presidential candidate from the 2024 presidential election, and I have not conceded, so I'm still a candidate because we have a lot of fraud in the system. And manipulation of votes and all sorts of things going on. So I have the Supreme Court looking at a document. I sent a lawsuit in to them already 2 Februaries ago, and they still have it. I'm waiting to hear something on it about the fraud in the system and where it is. Not that it's only in this one area, it's actually in many areas. So anyway, they still have it, and I'm waiting for a result or a judgment on it, is what it's called. So I have not conceded the election yet. I'm hopeful that good change will come, that they will be on the right side of the law. And then we can see something. So I am still a candidate, and I'm doing a little bit of homework on my own. I never heard from any state about any of my votes, none. And then the Green Party, they did, I guess they called around to find out if people got votes, and they actually recorded my votes too. They could be recorded. But for some of the states, what you have to do is go to the counties and ask them if there were any votes for me or someone else. And I'm just now getting to that now because I never heard from anybody. So what I have heard, or when I started to look into the results to see if there were any votes for me, sometimes my name does appear and sometimes it doesn't. And then other times it's been crossed off or just various things. I mean, the real truth is, so when you run for president, clearly how the election goes is written in the Constitution. It's the one election where there is no gray zone as to how to do it. But in the process, the states have come up with, and I don't mean states, the Democrats and Republicans have come up with all sorts of ways to restrict and give disinformation, misinformation to the public about who's running for office, how to vote for them. Just all sorts of things are not, the public's not informed about. And this is really sad. So, I'll go into the things that I discovered in a second, but this is not how it should be. The government is our employee, you and me. We should be able to hire and fire people when we want. And that includes, election people and all sorts. So not only are there, I want it also recorded that because this is not a big election year, we don't have the Mexicans coming across the border to vote because we don't need them this year. So that is why immigration or illegal immigration is down. That's why we don't have so many foreigners coming into the country. It's not because of Donald Trump's platform or his fear tactics or anything like that. It's because it's not in a big election year. Period. End of story. We don't have people coming from Puerto Rico or from the territories, from Guam, coming into the country to live for 6 months so they can vote. No, that none of that's going on. So this is one reason why we need to make the territories actually states, is so that they stop doing that. Because that is another thing, they probably are now, the Democrats and Republicans are probably paying people to come in from those territories and saying, okay, go move to this state. Look, we have an apartment for you and we'll pay for you to be there for 6 months and you vote for us. So, yeah, it's a stupid situation. Our forefathers could not have envisioned the way we're living today. And that's why our document, our plan for our country and how it works and how voting works is just not working anymore. And we need to update our Constitution. And, today is mostly, all my talks are going to be about the change that needs to happen. Change needs to happen. So I'm getting out there. So this is really it. So I've already told you about 2 of my own personal, more than 2 of my own personal voting registration information and details that were wrong. And then 2 times I did not vote while I was in Switzerland, and yet Rochester, New York recorded me as voting. So somebody voted for me. I normally would send my votes in as an absentee. And so the point is that wherever you see the word or a vote in the numbers on your election division results, all of those absentee votes could be incorrect. All of them. All of them could be incorrect. I did not vote twice while I was in Switzerland, and they recorded that I voted all the time. So, Houston, we have a big problem. We got a big problem because every single absentee vote in every state could be incorrect. The potential is there. Just from my experience alone. Then, the misspelling of my name. Then there might have been a correct spelling of my name. Then there might be, all the places I lived could be somebody voting for me. Absentee or otherwise. Apparently in New York State, you only have to show your ID once when you first register. After that, you don't have to show it. And in West Virginia, they weren't interested to see my passport. They didn't want to know that I was a U.S. citizen. So they're lying too. So with all the fraud that just I personally have experienced in my voting life in the USA, is a picture of all the voting fraud going on for every citizen who is eligible to vote. Anyone with a social security number could be being stolen their identity for voting. You think you're voting, but you're not. So when people say, hey, you voted for that guy, you can just say, no, nobody voted for him. And we don't know who did. The computers and everybody else. So anyway, I've been just this past week, I finally had a chance. And I noticed there are these things called blank votes, overvotes, undervotes, which I still don't know what that is, scattered votes, other votes. So, then I was like, what the heck is all of this? So, there's like, sometimes people supposedly mark the ballot twice, which, again, did they mark it twice, or did the person handling the document mark it a second time so it could be disqualified? we got to change our ballots. We got to change all sorts of things. There's just too many ways to cheat and manipulate, and we know that people are doing it. I am living proof that people are doing it. So, other votes are names of people that did not, that were not on the list. Of official write-in or whatever, or just were not on the list. So if you're not official, and sometimes being official means that you have to pay $20,000. So not everybody can pay that. And other ways of being official is being registered to vote, which, because I'm registered to vote, doesn't mean that I am who I am. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a darn thing. Especially since every state is using and doing that in a different way. So, Supreme Court, you need to act on the lawsuit. You need to give me I don't know what you call it, a judgment that I am correct and that we need to implement what I suggest. It's the only way. So, over is when a voter marks more choices than are allowed. Blanks are when there is nothing clearly marked. Then undervotes, I still don't know what that is. A lot of the information is sketchy at best. Then there are also these board of election in certain areas where they do canvassing. Now, canvassing, my understanding is it's to take a general poll of what people are doing or thinking. Canvassing is not an accurate vote. You would not use the word canvass if you're counting actual votes. And Illinois is run by canvassing. So I'm a bit confused about that. Because canvassing is taking a few envelopes, opening them up and saying, oh, it looks like things are going in this direction at random. Okay, that's what canvassing is. Random tallies of votes. So is Illinois doing random tallies of votes? Because they've canvassed their election. What? They're using the word wrong. So, we have too many people thinking, there's just too much power, too much lobbying, and not enough integrity in the people. And it breaks my heart. It really does. So, it's not a surprise that we have this stalemate going on in Washington, D.C. And, the senators there and the Congress, they're all getting paid. They're not losing anything. They get paid whether they work or not. So they don't really care. Is that fair? Mothers and children go without food. Sick people, handicapped people go without food. But your representatives, they got food. They got that apartment too, still in Washington, D.C. Maybe they're even renting it out right now because they're not using it. So now they get extra money too coming in. Cool. So this is the state of my campaign. Is I'm waiting for the Supreme Court, and doing my things that I need to do here, and doing some research on where things are now. When I looked in certain, just briefly in a few states, there were lots of absentee ballots. Sometimes they were in excess of the ballots that were done in person. So, knowing that my ballots were probably not from me, and I'm just one, and this is New York State, and it's even Rochester, New York. It's not even New York City. I mean, New York City is even more corrupt. So, what chance do we have, folks? U.S. citizens. So, I posted already last year when I was running for office that my lobby is the U.S. citizens, the everyday U.S. citizens. And you're still my lobby today, because it's not fair. Nobody's looking out for you. But I am. And I said nobody, but actually somebody is looking out for you. I am. Because I am also you. I am just a U.S. citizen. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a voice, apparently. West Virginia threw out my vote, so I'm being taxed without representation. I voted. I spent almost an hour there, maybe even an hour. And they threw out my vote. Through canvassing. An independent group of people decided I didn't want to vote because I wasn't registered to vote. So, I don't know. What should we do? Should we take it? Should this be acceptable? Are you not uncomfortable enough? Is this what you want to leave your children? Am I the only one who cares? Change is not easy, but we got to do it. And I'm going to talk about that in my State of the Union and in the State of the World. It's just not acceptable anymore. I will not sit here and tolerate being abused in this way. Maybe you like it, but I don't. And there has to be a way. I mean, I have a way. The Supreme Court has my documents. They know what they have to do. Breaks my heart. Okay, Susan4USA.com. That's Susan 4 USA.com. And I'll see you in the next video. This is the end of part 1. State of my campaign. Bye for now.